Hello and welcome to our first ever CEO Spotlight Series interview. I'm here with Erika Santos. My name's Noah Brandon. Erika is our campus director in New Orleans and is also heading up our online division of our school. We're here to get to know a little bit about you so you can tell us your story. So let's go ahead and get started. Before working at Unitech, what was one of the most unusual or interesting jobs that you've ever had?
Thank you for having me, Noah. I would say definitely the most unusual position I've ever held was working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Early on in my career, I took the job thinking it was going to be a sales position. Yeah. Needless to say, the car porters had just quit. It was the heat of August, and I ended up washing cars in a business suit, picking up strangers in random locations, moving vehicles from one location from the airport to another location. So as you can imagine, that was pretty unusual for me.
Yeah, I think we've all had that one job that we started and it wasn't what we thought it was going to be.
Absolutely, so. But you know, I met a lot of great people and learned a lot of great sales skills that I've carried forward with my career as I moved on, and I count it all joy for the experience.
Character building.
Yes.
That's good.
Good way to think about it.
Well, tell us a little bit about your history with Unitech. Where'd you start? Where are you now? Tell us about your path.
I started at Unitech in June of 2017. I started off at the Houma location when it was on Grand Calais. We moved it to West Park. And when things got really sweet after about 2 years, it was time to transition. I actually took the opportunity to be a support help header at the Metairie location. And needless to say, it was the next chapter in my time at Unitech. I became the campus director at Metairie, which obviously is now the New Orleans campus. And most recently, I was promoted to the New Orleans campus, not New Orleans campus director, I'm sorry, to the regional director position where I supervise the New Orleans campus as well as the online campus.
You wear a lot of hats.
Yes.
That's great. Well, tell me a little bit about that, right? Let's transition a little bit. I want to know about your work-life balance, right? Because you wear a lot of hats at work. I know you wear a lot of hats in your personal life. So how do you balance all that?
Balance is very hard for me. It's when you love what you do, everything tends to bleed together. But I've really found really creative ways in how I can incorporate work and still be a great mom and a great wife. Part of that entails teaching my kids about the business where there's opportunities that they can relate. They've helped me with student appreciation events and organizing little presents. But to answer your question, the best ways I've found to manage that is obviously through effective time management. I start my days really early and try to plan out as much as possible. But obviously at Unitech, you know, no day is just the same.
It's not.
And I think, you know, the second thing that's really been helpful is just being very intentional. So when I'm at work, you know, whether it's the student in front of me or the employee in front of me, being extremely intentional in my approach, in how I communicate, in my time and how I manage that. And then when I go home, being extra intentional with the people I really love and care about at home, and obviously just being there for everything that's important to them. So I don't miss volleyball, I don't miss basketball, all those things that, you know, really, you know, make your heart feel fulfilled. I make sure that I make time for those things. That's important as well.
I love that. I think that's so important. I try very hard to do the same thing with my daughter and be there for everything she has. And it's so important to have the balance.
I'm very thankful to work for an organization that allows the flexibility to be able to do that.
Well, it's important, right? I think it's great. What do you like to do outside when you're not wearing all the hats at Unitech and you're not, you know, at volleyball and doing like when it's Erika time? What do you like? What are things that you're interested in?
My favorite thing to do is read. Books can be a vehicle that can take you anywhere you want to go. There's so much great information out there, and all of that can be found in a book. So, you know, COVID happened, so you obviously can't travel as much as you'd like to, right. But books are a great way to be able to go pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, well, what are you reading right now?
I'm reading a book that's about Steve Jobs. Really, I like to follow successful people and how they think, what they've done, you know, what discipline they use or what they sacrifice to get to where they are. And obviously Steve Jobs is somebody I've been very fascinated with, his story, and that's what I'm reading right now.
That's good. I'm gonna have to look into it.
It's a great book.
I think it's
a great book.
Yeah,
How he ended up creating Apple is an absolutely phenomenal book. Believe it or not, the sleek designs came from a house. You know, it came from the houses that he grew up in and what they looked like. They were very sleek in California, and he obviously created Apple's brand, the sleek of design of the phones and the iPads from that.
Well, knowing you the way that I do, I can see why that really excites you. You know, it's
It
just
started
yeah,
early
it's
on.
what you're into, right? It's good. I like that. Well, tell us about your proudest moment at Unitech, right? I know you've been here, and again, you've worked at this campus, that campus, you know, Homa, New Orleans. Now you're doing regional director stuff, so you have a lot of different areas that you touch, and you've had a lot of experiences, talked to a lot of people. What are some things that stick out to you?
Oh, my proudest moments. There's been so many, but I have two that probably stand out the most. First one, we had a student at the New Orleans campus named Kiwan Nelson. Kiwan had come to us 2 occasions previously and was not as successful as she probably would have liked. However, on the 3rd occasion, she had a meeting with the director, and the meeting was really about what things she needed to overcome and what was going to be different this time about her story, and how we would finish the story. Something seemed really different in that conversation. So Kiwan obviously started again with us. Fast forward to graduation. Kiwan graduated. She graduated top of her class as valedictorian. She passed her pharmacy exam. She got a job. She's working in the field. And as she's speaking, she says, "Miss Erika, thank you for not giving up on me." And that to me was a very proud moment, because sometimes we underestimate the power of what our words mean to people, or the power of little bitty deeds and how that adds up and makes a difference. So for me, that was definitely a highlight moment in my career.
I love that. Like, not to cut you off, I love that. I think that's terrific.
Yeah.
I mean,
it doesn't. It takes a lot sometimes, and that really meant a lot. I'd say the second moment that makes me most proud is when I reflect and think about people I've worked with who are now promoted in leadership roles. Katie Piku, Tanara Basnak. There's so many, Celeste Bro and Nicole Arsenault. I had the privilege of meeting and working with them early on in their career. And I know the conversations we had about, where they wanted to be and, how they saw themselves, and to see them work incredibly hard and go beyond the fear and courage to go to the next level and become directors and corporate members. That makes me feel really proud. I feel like the market leadership is not about how well you do, it's about how well those around you do. So when students achieve more and employees achieve more, then I know that I'm doing something right, and it's confirmation, and it makes me feel really proud and good.
That's awesome. Anybody who speaks to me knows that I love everything about that answer, right? I mean, you have absolutely done a great
That's what
job.
it's about.
You're helping students, you're helping develop people that work at Unitech so they can move up. I mean, you have had such an impact on this organization. And, let's build on that a little bit. This interview actually got postponed a few times because of natural disasters. Hurricane Ida, for example, came through, and so now we're here doing this. Talk to us a little bit about how New Orleans is responding to Hurricane Ida, and your students, your team. Just what are you all overcoming right now to get back online?
We're Unitech strong. New Orleans, we've been through Katrina. We've been through some really hard times, as most of Louisiana. And it's just something about us as Louisianians. We know how to overcome obstacles and challenges. Surprisingly enough, after the storm hit, everybody was displaced in different areas, but I had students, I had employees calling me ready to get to work. When are we going to get back started? Can I continue doing my classes online? Okay, we need to take the break. We need to obviously figure out what's the state of our campus. And, but I think the part that resonated most with me is that everybody is ready to get back in, to rebuild, to finish what they started, and to continue the vision of what we need to accomplish for 2021. So in terms of, where we are with things, it's just about getting back to work and making things happen to move forward.
Sure. Well, I'm really proud of what y'all are doing in terms of overcoming the adversity to get back to teaching our students.
We've been working hard.
Yeah, I know.
We've been working hard. The employees, they haven't taken time off, The campus might be closed, but we are still working incredibly hard. We know we have graduation. We know we have these big things coming, and we want to be able to deliver for our students.
Yeah, most people don't understand all the work that goes into
Doesn't
just
stop.
the day-to-day, even if you're not teaching class. And so,
Right.
Look, I appreciate very much all the work y'all are doing. Last question, let me ask you this. How do you define success? You're one of our more successful team members, and I want to know how you define it and what your vision is of success.
No, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, of course.
For many years, I struggled with defining success. I think because early on in my career, my version of success was probably a little shallow, I hate to admit, but I really based it on achievements. And what I learned is it was kind of like running a race where there's no finish line and you're moving in so many directions and you really can't see the progress you're making. So, Jim Carrey actually has a quote, and he said that he wished everybody could be rich. He wished everybody could have everything they ever wanted, and then they'd see it was not enough. So I really did a lot of soul searching, and the best definition of success that I've ever been able to find is by Earl Nightingale. And it's pretty much that success is the progressive realization of a noteworthy ideal. And what that means to me is that, you have to look within, you have values, you have things that are important to you. You have to figure out what that is, silence those distractions. And when you do that, you can really focus on a specific goal that you want to accomplish. And so many reasons we don't pay attention, right? You have fear, you have distractions, you have all kinds of stuff, right? But when you silence that, you really figure out what that is for yourself and you set that goal, then you start to make a plan and work towards that goal. And what happens is it creates fulfillment, it creates joy. You wake up in the morning and you have a purpose, you have an anticipation of something good happening to you. And it doesn't mean that failure doesn't happen, right? Failure is gonna happen for everybody. And sometimes it can be the best teacher, right? Because it gives you what we call experience. Yeah. That's just a fancy word for failure.
Absolutely.
But obviously you overcome that and you stay focused on your journey. You don't get distracted by that failure or by that setback, or whatever you wanna call it. You just keep going. And it's that process of who you become, not the achievement of that target, that really, really makes something special and makes you feel fulfilled. So for me, that's how I've learned to be content. That's how I've learned to have gratitude. That's how I've learned to be really happy. And my goal in life is obviously to help my family, the people I love and care about so dearly, and every student and every person I meet realize that so that they can live a fulfilled life as well.
Wow. Well, Erika, you are awesome, right? You are an impressive person, and I'm so happy. We're so lucky to have you in our Unitech family. You do so many good things for us, and you help so many people. And thank you so much for coming and kicking off our CEO Spotlight series and being our initial person to be able to come in here. I know it's not always the easiest thing to do, but look, if everybody watching this, if you ever get a chance to meet Erika Santos, I absolutely recommend you take advantage of it because she's amazing, and you will not regret it. So,
no, you're too kind.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.